I thought my office was pretty normal, you know? The usual corporate weirdness. Nothing too wild. But then Pamela happened. Pamela joined our marketing team about a year ago. She was transferred from another branch after what our manager called an internal restructuring, which in hindsight was probably corporate speak for she blew up another department. At first, she seemed fine, maybe a little too cheerful, but that's hardly a crime. She had this big, fake pageant smile and wore those power suits that screamed, I mean business, even though her actual work output was kind of underwhelming. Still, everyone liked her at first. She'd bake cookies for team meetings. She'd compliment your outfit in the elevator. She even gave our boss a tie on his birthday, custom embroidered with his initials. But then, little things started happening. Let me know in the comments if you've ever dealt with something like this. I'd love to hear your story today. The first sign something was off was when our intern Sam got in trouble over a botched report. Sam swore he'd double-checked the numbers, but somehow the file he sent had all these glaring errors that made him look incompetent. Sam actually cried in the bathroom that day. Weird thing was, the version he sent to Pamela to review was correct. I know, because he'd shown it to me. But the one our boss got wasn't. Then there was the whole whiteboard gate. One morning, our whiteboard in the conference room was covered with these really nasty, anonymous notes about our coworker, Julia. Stuff like, stop flirting with married men, and maybe focus on your job for once. Julia was devastated. HR sent out an email saying there'd be an investigation, but nothing ever came of it. Meanwhile, Pamela somehow kept getting assigned to the best projects. Like clockwork, every time a juicy new client came in, she'd already have a proposal drafted before anyone else even heard about it. The rest of us were left picking over scraps. By the third or fourth incident, people started whispering. Some said she was blackmailing the boss. Some said she had dirt on HR. Me, I was determined to figure it out. One afternoon, after yet another team meeting where Pamela took all the credit for a campaign Julia and I had actually built, I stayed late. I knew she'd left her laptop in the break room earlier. So, when everyone else cleared out, I made a beeline for it. I know. Not exactly ethical. But by that point, I was desperate to prove what we all suspected. And boy, did I find proof. First, there was a folder on her desktop called Playbook. Inside were subfolders for every single person in the department, including me. What? And each one was like a dossier. Screenshots of embarrassing emails, old performance reviews she'd somehow gotten her hands on, even private text messages in some cases. Blackmail material, basically. I couldn't believe my eyes. And then I opened the folder labeled Julia, and there it was. A draft of the whiteboard insults she'd written in a Word doc, timestamps and all, and an Excel sheet labeled Sam Edits with a log of the exact changes she'd made to his report before sending it to our boss. That's when I heard the door creak behind me. It was Pamela. She didn't even flinch. She just leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, smiling that same big fake smile. "You know," she said, "you're not the first to try and play detective, but you're definitely the cutest." I didn't even respond. I just yanked a USB drive out of my pocket and started copying her entire playbook folder. My hands were shaking, but I didn't stop. I had to stop there, but I didn't stop. She sauntered over, real slow, heels clicking on the tile, and leaned down right next to my ear. "Careful," she whispered. "You don't know who you're messing with." When the copy finished, I yanked the USB out, slammed her laptop shut, and walked straight to HR. Now, if you think HR immediately did the right thing, think again. At first, they acted like I was the problem, said Pamela was a valued employee, and accused me of improperly accessing sensitive files. So I escalated. I sent an anonymous tip to corporate compliance with all the evidence, even the parts that proved HR had ignored multiple prior complaints about her. And that's when the dam broke. Pamela was escorted out of the building the next day. She didn't even pack her things, just stood there in the middle of the office with that same big smile as two security guards flanked her. "You'll regret this," she mouthed to me as she passed by. Maybe I will. But you know what? The atmosphere in the office changed overnight. Julia finally got promoted. Sam got his internship extended. People started joking again during meetings. And as for me, I'm keeping that USB drive locked in a drawer, just in case. So yeah, that's my story. Like and subscribe if you want more insane office stories like this one. I've got plenty more where that came from. And hey, if you've ever worked with someone like Pamela, don't forget to share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear how you handled it. More stories like this every day on Office Drama Daily.